The date was January 3rd.
That we got together. And I left on the 12th.
2005.
Yep.
January 3rd, 2005.
Yeah. We knew each other for a while. I went to school with Joe's younger brother, Sam, and I kind of knew him from being friends of friends and stuff like that. But it wasn't until when how we first started dating was an ex-boyfriend of mine who was friends of his came over my house one night on New Year's Eve. My bridesmaid, Vicky, her and I were in my room getting ready, and he had made me mad like earlier in the week. So I said to her, when he comes over here, the first guy's name that comes out of his mouth that I'm not like friends with and isn't like repulsing, I'm gonna say, tell him I said hi, he's cute. So, you know, you're not repulsing, but you're all right.
Thanks.
So he comes over, and of course, Joe was the first name that came out of his mouth, and naturally I said, oh, tell him I think he's cute. And it was funny because, years before that, when I was dating him, I came home and said to my mom, I met the cutest guy tonight, but I'm not gonna date him because, you know, I was with the other guy. And my mom's like, stay away, he's too old, you know, because he's 4 years older than me, and when I was a freshman, that was too old. So, and then New Year's Eve that night, I get a phone call. I had no clue.
I was so drunk.
And
I just told her at like 4 in the morning.
Yeah, and I wouldn't have known that it was him unless a couple days later I went to a friend's house and he was there, and then I found out he was the one that left that message, and then we got together and we're history. So
I told her, I said, look, I don't have a car, I don't have any money, and I don't have a job, but I'm working on it. So I was getting ready to do an internship somewhere, and she was like, all right, well, that's all right. I was like, okay. So I said, well, you come pick me up at my house, we'll go to a movie or something like that. So that's what happened.
Yeah, and that was the
Then a
hardest
week
thing.
later, she went to go work in Disney World for
5 months.
5 months.
Yeah,
We were only
stayed
together a week. We were only together
Week,
for
week
about
and
a
a
week,
half,
and I knew I wanted to stay with her.
That was hard. That was
We saw each
really
other
hard.
maybe once a month.
Yeah, that was hard.
She always made me feel better than what I really was. I always, I don't know, I was just always going with the motions and stuff, and she just helped me set things straight. Even after I was through the military and all that stuff, it was still, you just go through the motions still. Just kind of wanted, I didn't want to grow up.
Yeah.
But with her, you know, I felt good moving along, and I just felt like everything was always falling the way I wanted it to go. And it was like all my goals were coming together. And I said, the only reason why is because of her. And I knew I didn't want to be without her.
I knew, it's funny, because I know it sounds stupid, it's kind of cliche, but like, I said I loved him in 3 days into our relationship, and I just think that's wild. Like, I wouldn't normally agree with that. If somebody told me they did that, I'd be like, you're nuts. Like, you don't even know this guy.
Yeah.
But it was weird, because when I was in Florida, I know we were on the phone, and I wanted to tell him so bad, like, I just want to marry you. And it was crazy. I was 19. Like, what am I talking about?
Yeah.
I don't want to get married. I'm 19 years old. Like, but I kind of knew. It wasn't that I wanted to get married then. It was just like, I really think this is the guy I'm going to marry. You know.
I told her I loved her, what,
3
3 or 4 days, or third or fourth date.
Yeah.
So I kind of knew.
Well, we originally wanted November 13th, Friday the 13th. But with my schooling and everything, because I'm going for my master's, it just wasn't going to work out, because it was either you got married then and you didn't have a honeymoon, or you got married in the summer, and I'm a big sweater, everybody knows that. So I wasn't.
Do summer.
Yeah.
We had to.
We didn't
It
have a
was kind
choice.
of the way it had to work
So
out. for
we
school.
picked, honestly, the way we picked it was July 17th, 2009. We picked it because I actually went online and looked June, July, and August, which had the least amount of rain. And July was like a smidgen less than August, so I was like, July it is. So, and we both liked that number, and 17, and
Yeah.
we just went with it. Our favorite number's 13, that's why we wanted the 13th, but my actually second is a 7, so that's why I picked 17. So it worked out good.
Let's see, in the morning it was nice, it was sunny out, wasn't too crazy, wasn't too hot, I don't think it was too hot. So I was thinking this great day's coming along, so here we are, we're at the house, me and my brother and my friend, and I'm like, this is a good day. getting phone calls, code lock, come on, here we go. I was like, okay. So we get to my parents' house, and all of a sudden it starts getting cloudy. It starts getting a little bit muggy. Didn't ruin the mood or anything.
It was humid.
Yeah, it was humid.
It was humid.
It was pretty humid. I remember it was hot out there, and we had to get changed in my parents' house, and everybody was just sweating. We had to crank up the air conditioning to like full blast. Then we had to get pictures outside, and it was just hot and humid. That's when I remember it was hot and humid.
Yeah.
I actually started the car up, both cars up, so that way the air conditioner was free. So them cars were like refrigerators when we got in there.
I remember driving, and my mom, my dad, and I were driving in the Rolls, and we were leaving. And as we're heading, like, we're almost at the church, and I'm like, it's raining. It was spotting, you know, a little bit. And I was like, what are you gonna do? And I remember the driver looked at me and he went, are you serious? And I was like, yeah, it's raining. What do you want me to do? And he's like, you are the most calm bride I've ever seen in my life when it starts raining. I said, well, nobody wants it to rain, but it's, you know, this is up to God. You can't change it, so.
Yeah, it didn't let it ruin the day. It rained a little bit.
A little bit. And
but if it was sunny out, it would have been really bad.
I don't even think it really rained much. I think it was just sprinkles, because when I got to the church, it wasn't raining. And then the only time it started sprinkling again was we were outside.
When we were doing pictures with the balloons.
With Sarah and Tony doing some outside pictures, and it started raining some, and I booked it into the Marion. So.
It wasn't too bad. No downpours.
Yeah.
No. In the morning, what I did was woke up. I wanted to get her a little gift out to her. I had a little gift I sealed up. A little gift.
Bracelet.
A little bracelet. It matched her necklace really good. And I wanted to get her card to her. So all I did, that was anything special, was send my best man over here to give it to her. And then we just kind of sat around and ate sausage sandwiches. Sausage and peppers, and that was pretty much it. Just a bunch of guys trying to get them together.
Wrote me a card and made me cry.
Yeah, wrote you a card.
The morning of my wedding, of our wedding, I woke up, I woke up. I literally slept like 2 hours because my real good girlfriend, Crystal, who was in the wedding, she slept with me in my bed, and Joe's cousin, Crystal, who was also in the wedding, slept over. And I was like a maniac. I couldn't sleep. I was like excited and nervous, and I remember the night before, like I almost had like a panic attack, and I'm like, why am I so nervous? But then when I woke up in the morning, it was like I had this calmness, and it was just really weird because I was calm the whole day, and it blew my mind because I thought it was gonna be a wreck. And so I felt really good, and everybody was here, and all my bridesmaids came over 8 o'clock. They were all here, and hair started and makeup, and they saw my dress, and they loved my dress because I kept that from them, so that was fun. But yeah, I was ready to go. I had a good time. It was weird because I don't think it actually hit me that it was my wedding day until I started to walk down that aisle. Like I told them, I was like, oh, I feel like we're just getting ready to go to prom or something. I feel like we're back in school. You know, it felt funny because a lot of my bridesmaids are they're my high school friends. And there was only your cousin and my girlfriend Laura that was my friend from college. And you know, so it felt like I was just back in the day with my girls getting ready to go to a dance. And I was like the prom queen or something, I don't know. Phyllis does everything. She's amazing.
That's why she's the godmother.
Yeah, she's the fairy godmother. She is amazing. She was like our savior through this whole thing. I don't know what we would have done without her. It's funny that she wound up doing my makeup because at first I wasn't gonna have her do my makeup because I'm really, like, not that I think I do great makeup, but I think I do an alright job on my makeup. So I'm not a picky person. That's the one thing that I'm like really picky at. I'm like, my makeup has gotta be right. And I feel like I do such a good job that everybody that I was going to do my makeup, I was like, well, I can do a better job than that. This is my wedding day. I don't want to look worse, I want to look better, you know? And I went to, 2 or 3 other people. And finally I just said, Phyllis, I don't know what to do. We booked the one lady and everything, and I was just like, I just don't like her. My girlfriend Laura seen the pictures and said, Jewel, you do way better than that. Like, why is this woman Mindy doing your makeup? And I'm like, oh, I don't know, I gotta stop. And you didn't like it either.
No.
You didn't like it either.
I like it when...
And I really knew when he said, Jewel, I'm like, I don't want my husband to think I look like crap on my wedding day. So Phyllis said, look, give me a shot, let me try your makeup. And I remember the night before I went down to MAC just to see what they could do. And they did a really good job. So I took my digital camera and I showed her and I said, this is what I want, but better, you know? And she did exactly what I asked. And I guess that's why they call her the fairy godmother, because that's really what she is. She does whatever you want, whatever you ask, she gets it done. There's so many little things that you don't think
All
about.
the little places that you guys went to, she was there. She went to almost every place you went to.
Oh, yeah.
She was literally your shadow.
Yeah, I mean, whatever you need, it happened, you know? If there wasn't something you liked, it was changed. And we weren't picky by any means. Like, we weren't like, no, I don't like this, I don't like that. But she was there. And, you know, just everything. When my dad had his heart attack 2 Junes ago, she was there. What can I do? What do you need? Do you need me to come down? What, you know, I mean, not just being a wedding planner, she truly became a friend, you know? And we look forward to still seeing her and getting together. And
texting her on her.
Yeah, we were texting her and sending her picture messages, and she truly is not, to me, in my eyes, she's not a wedding planner, she's a friend. She's a very good friend. The food spread and decorations in the house, period, was my mother. My mom is very on top of things. She's a perfectionist. You know, she's
we weren't allowed to touch that island for a
everything
week
has
before
to
the
be
wedding.
right. And she does. She did a great job. I mean, yeah, she was running around like crazy the night before, getting food and making sure everything was perfect. And the colored M&Ms and little mint candies and like shrimp cocktail and all that. So that's my mom. She's always doing everything for everyone else. Dory was supposed to be in the kennels, and then Dory tore a ligament in her leg, and Dory had to be here because she couldn't be anywhere. And my uncle Steve actually had to come and watch her, so it was a great reason to get her on video and some nice still shots of her. So we decided to do that, and I say everything always happens for a reason. And ever since I was little, even though I didn't have Dory, I always said, I want my doggies in the picture with me on my wedding day. And if it was up to me, I would have had her walk down the aisle with me. But I would have.
Draw the line.
I would
A
have.
little bit somewhere,
But, you know, so I think maybe she had that operation so that I could have some pictures with her on my wedding day.
And she loved being here with you.
And she did. When I was getting dressed, I just remember being really hot. I remember getting down in front of the fan and being like, oh, that's me. And I was surprised because I really thought that my mom and dad would, I really thought my dad would cry because I knew he saw my dress and he'd seen me in pictures in my dress, but he never saw me in my dress in person. And I thought maybe he'd cry, but I drilled them so hardcore to not cry that I think maybe they kind of held it back. But I do remember my dad being my dad and simply walking in and going, oh, you look nice, Jewel. And then he walked out and I was just like, oh, okay, Dad. You know, that's my dad. I was just so excited to have, you know, all my really good, close friends there with me. And of course my mom, because she's my best friend in the whole world. And I'm just glad that she's there. I'm almost gonna cry because everything has been going on. Well, my dad definitely wanted us to ride in a car by ourselves, you know, to be very traditional. But I get very car sick, like just going around the corner. So the biggest thing was I had to be able to sit in the front seat. Not only, I would have wanted my mom to come with us anyway, but yeah, I had to sit in the front seat, so in order to not, you know. So, yeah, so we told her, and Phyllis said, let me see what I can do. I'll call around and I'll find one that has a permit that you can sit in the front seat. And that was our role. And I loved it. I thought it was great. And I loved the driver. Neil was awesome. Neil. I remember we got out of the church and I said, Joe, this is Neil. And Neil's like, you know, just like I am with you. I'm like, hi, Tom. You know, I'm like, hey, Neil, what's going on? You know, and he's like, and he told you how easygoing I was when he got in the car.
He had a Brooklyn accent. We chose the Asbury United Methodist Church.
Yeah, for our wedding, yep.
Because we were going to go to Piney Hollow Church down the road, but it only fits. How many people fit in there? Maybe 75 people.
Yeah, it's a very small church.
Very
Our church
old,
is really
small church, but
and it has no air conditioning.
no air conditioning, so everybody would have been uncomfortable.
Yeah, one of our ministers, because we had 3. One of our ministers, Elsie Scattergood, actually told us that there was a nice church, which was the Asbury United Methodist Church, and we actually picked it before they put the big addition on. That was all new, and we actually picked that church before we even seen the inside of it.
We were there 2 hours before it started. Good thing I drove. Driving up there was worse on the day of rehearsal. I don't know why. I guess just because it's like, wow, everything's happening.
Yeah.
Not having any doubts or anything. It's just, this is all happening now.
Yeah, rehearsal was.
Well, that was more nerve-wracking. Good thing, because I drove up to the church that day. Drove up, I felt antsy, felt a little nervous, but I wasn't, nothing too bad. Everybody's saying how calm I was. I was just I just kept wanting to get up and do stuff and help people out, and help them carry the flowers and help them carry everything. And until they found out I was a groom and they wouldn't let me touch anything. I sat around with the guys. I'm sitting back there, and I remember I'm like, everything's cool, everything's cool. And then I'm like, here it goes, it's time. I remember staring out the window for a little bit, and I was just thinking. I can't even remember what I was thinking about. Just sitting there, bracing myself.
Bracing yourself?
Not bracing myself, but like, you know what I mean? I was trying to enjoy the moment, just like really trying to take it all in.
All my bridesmaids were like, wow, you are so calm. Like, I don't understand how you are so calm right now. And it's still, like I said, it didn't hit me that I was going to be walking down the aisle. Elsie Scattergood is who we originally wanted to marry us. Not that we didn't want them all. We didn't even think about that at first. But Elsie was the older lady. She used to be our minister at our church down here at Piney Hollow before she retired. Now she's retired. But she's a very, very good friend of the family. She's, been in my life since I was born, basically. And then Diane Passion, who is the other attractive woman. She used to also be our minister after Elsie retired. Diane was our minister for a while at Piney Hollow. And Diane also was one of the nurses who delivered me in, my mom's
Diane is
childbirth.
Reverend Passion.
Yeah, Diane is Reverend Passion. And then there's Jim, Reverend Jim Gillard, who is the handsome man. And he is our present minister at Piney Hollow and has seen Joe and I's relationship blossom.
So we said, gotta have Jim in there too.
Yeah, gotta have Jim. We love Jim. We're always involved in the Christmas stuff. But the main reason why we couldn't just have Elsie was we needed an elder. And she wasn't an elder. So then we asked Jim, and Jim wasn't an elder. But Diane was an elder. And it was just like, wow, this was so perfect because it's all 3 and they're also connected with us and they're very special people to us. And so it just worked out that way. And I don't think there's many people that can really sit back and say that they had not only one minister that was involved in their life, but 3 that were really, really involved and that will continue to be involved.
Yes. So. I remember they called us. It was our cue to come out. The guys came out. And then I remember standing there and I wasn't feeling like my heart was gonna blast out of my chest or anything, but you just got that anticipation. You're just waiting, just waiting. I want to know what she looks like, what's she thinking, how's she feeling. I want to know how she was feeling, all this stuff. I don't really remember everybody else coming down the aisle, but I remember seeing everybody stand, and I put my head down real quick because I didn't want to catch a glimpse of her walking out of the exit or anything. So I wanted to keep my head down, and then I picked my head up. And I saw her, and I felt like it was really weird, like everything shut out. The only way I could describe it, it sounds weird, it was like the perfect feeling. I felt really calm, I felt the happiest I ever felt. It was just a really, really cool feeling. I don't think it's unexplainable.
I remember being perfectly fine, standing, ready to go meet my groom, and I remember just being really hot because I was starting to get a little nervous. And I remember I wanted to do everything real traditional, so I had the blusher veil. And I remember saying to my dad, don't put it on me yet. Don't put it on me yet, because believe it or not, that little thing of material makes you so hot. So I remember right before we got up there, I'm like, all right, Dad, quick, put it on, because we were almost out. And I still felt like it wasn't really happening. And then right after because the last girl to go was my flower girl, Jessie. And right as I see Jessie go, I remember she turned back and I think she turned back and looked at me. And I was like, all right, thumbs up, When I walked down the aisle, everything kind of blacked out. Like it was just, I don't really remember who was in the church. But then I saw Joe, and then once I seen Joe, once I turned that corner, it was like boom, that was it. It was me, my dad, and Joe, and that was it. I couldn't see anybody else. I was just like really happy to see you, and I was kind of like, when I got up to the altar, I was kind of thinking to myself, gosh, I hope he likes my dress. The ceremony itself was really good. It seemed a lot longer in rehearsal, and it seemed to kind of fly by, I think, for both of us.
Yeah, flew by pretty quickly for us. Went by pretty smooth. Julie spilled some sand.
I don't know if you got that or not, but I was spilling sand like crazy, and I'm like, Joe, shh.
But we had fun up there. It was just, once we were, like I said before, once we got up there, it was just me and her, and we were just being ourselves.
I'm not really sure how my mom did with lighting the unity candle and pouring the sand. I know she said my cousin George was up there with her, and he was making her crack up the whole time, so I think that was good for her. Saying the vows to Joe was really nice. It was good. And we did what the minister told us, Diane told us, make sure that you look at each other. And she told us, she said, I've been married for 30 some years. I don't need to marry you. I don't need to marry you. You need to marry him, and he needs to marry you. So, and I think we did a good job with that. I think we stayed looking at each other. And it wasn't that I didn't want to look at them, but I really think I wanted to look at you. I don't think I really wanted to look at them.
Yeah, all my focus was on.
We decided to have Sarah DeChico do our photographs along with her husband Tony and her assistant. I think her name was Heidi. Yeah, Heidi, who was also very nice. And I like that about Sarah, that she captured the actual emotion of the day. And I remember also both of us saying that we felt such a strong connection with Sarah and Tony, kind of like they were friends, And we think that's really important.
That was the biggest reason why we picked Sarah.
Yeah, I mean, we love her pictures.
Oh, her
love
pictures.
her pictures.
I love her pictures.
Yeah, she's such a down-to-earth and kind, and Tony as well. Just very, and really genuine. You know what I mean? Really genuine and really caring and very wanting to make sure that everything is perfect for you, and honestly feeling that way. And we're looking forward to seeing our pictures, and I have no doubt in my mind that they'll be beautiful. Sarah knows that we're both very, up for anything, kind of like we said earlier, roll with the punches. She had this great idea to get these huge, I think they were 3-foot wide balloons, just ranges of different pinks. And we used the hot pink balloons outside, and I'm really anxious to see them because I think they're going to be really fun. And I know the bridal party had a good time with them. And I remember when we actually drove by the Marion to get to the church, I looked over and I was like, there's the Marion, and I'm like, oh, there's my balloons! I saw them out back and I was like, they're awesome, And our bridal party had went inside at this point, and she had Joe and I get in the balloons and kind of push them down.
Spider-Man.
I'm really anxious to see how that shot came out, because I think that's going to be I know how she is, and I know how particular she is, and I know how she'll, if there's one thing in there that maybe doesn't look right, she'll take it out, and I think that, to me, it's going to look like a cover of a magazine. Yeah, I think she did a great job. I'm really looking forward to seeing what she captured throughout the night. We picked TLJ Studios for our videographer, and we had Tom and one of his assistants come out and do our wedding. And really, we were searching online and came across the website. And I remember when we walked into the studio, we were immediately made to feel like we were just, a friend. We weren't just somebody off the street. Everything that we wanted in a video, we got. Everything that we asked for was made to happen. Easygoing, easy to get in touch with, best bang for your buck.
Tom, can we do this?
All right. It's just whatever and I mean.
And what I liked was that you captured everything. Not just go, well, this part isn't that important, like the other places. You really don't need that. You don't need to hear this.
Yes, you do.
And you were like,
Yeah.
You gotta have that
You
stuff
have to
in
have
there.
that in
So,
there, 'cause that's what it's about.
You covered a lot more footage in there.
And we didn't even
Whether
know
other people
that
wanted
you
to
were
see it or
there.
not, me and her could sit there and watch hours and hours and hours of our whole thing.
Yeah.
Not
And because
worried
it's
about
for you. It's not for anyone else, it's for you. It's for the bride and the groom, it's what you want. And you specialize that to their needs and their want. And the best thing about it was you were invisible the whole day. You weren't in our face, we didn't know where you were, but you were there, you know? And it's like you need to be that fly on the wall so that you don't have the light in your face or the camera up on you. And the only way we even knew that you captured some things before you see the video is you see friends' pictures and stuff, and it's, oh, there's Tom, like in the background, and you know he got
everywhere.
that shot. But when that was actually happening the day of the wedding, you didn't know it. And that's what I think is really
Well,
special.
the one thing I tell everybody, they say, you know, how's your vendors? Or they would ask us about how we picked our stuff, and we were just like, we went with the people we felt like we could trust. That was it. Felt like we could trust and we could actually go out and actually be friends with people.
Made you feel like they were an honest person,
Yeah.
not that they were just out to get your dollar.
Yeah.
Basically, is how you know. Same thing with our photographer and our DJ. You had to
They were the
have
same
that
way.
level of comfort, security, and peace of mind to know that on my wedding day, I'm going to have everything that I want. And you know, and that's what we got. It was great.
Definitely.
It's kind of weird how we picked the Marion.
No, really. Everybody had a wedding at Lucian's. You've seen weddings. Like
Yeah.
a lot of people we know got married at Lucian's, got married all the other places, and we wanted to do somewhere where nobody was.
And originally, I would have loved to have gotten married down in Disney World, and I knew it was kind of asking a lot of people to travel and all that. So I was like, okay, my main thing is to find a ballroom that, to me, I feel I can kind of sculpt into that fairy tale castle like theme. I actually found the Marion on the Knot, never heard of it, anything before. And when I looked at it, I immediately was like, that's where I want to get married. Like, that's where I want our reception. I remember showing you, and then we walked into the palace room where we had our reception. The setup of it and the size of the room was not to the point where it was so big that you had to worry about it being too big, but it felt like just perfect. They invited us, they don't do it anymore, but at the time they invited us back to a tasting, just of random food. And we took my dad, and I remember my dad was like, yeah, this is nice. And the tasting was actually in our room, and we tried it, and I remember we booked it, and I was so excited. That was how we picked the Marion, and we booked it June 8th, 2007, a day and a year after we were engaged. We were supposed to get into cocktail hour, but we didn't. We kind of went upstairs in the bridal suite and found our whole bridal party in the bridal
We
suite.
ended up hanging out with the whole bridal party upstairs
Yeah.
instead.
And during cocktail hour, we were, Phyllis came down and she had us come into the room by herself. And I remember just really being like, whoa, because I didn't expect it to be like that. And I remember my mom and I don't know if you got this, but I remember my mom and I screamed when we was in the room. Because we did not expect, I mean, the amount of money that we spent
And my jaw dropped
yeah,
when I walked in
and
there.
you wouldn't think that the money that we spent would have got us what it did. And it was just like, whoa. And I remember, I forget who said to me, what were you, we heard you screaming. And I'm like, oh, you don't even know. It was just like, and to me, it was worth missing cocktail to just be able to go in and have a moment. And you know, the string trio followed us in and started playing the Disney tunes, and it was just, I felt like I was in a fair, I felt like I was Cinderella in her castle at a ball. You know, it was just more than I had ever dreamed of. More than I can't, you know, and you know, I can't thank Phyllis enough for doing what she did, and I can't thank my parents enough for, you know, throwing us that wedding, because it was just breathtaking, breathtaking. Our DJ, Dave Hoffel. He's the owner, him and his wife. Yeah.
He was cool. We got along with him really good. And he was talking about all the music stuff, and you just tell when
It was
somebody,
right up Joe's alley.
Yeah, you can just tell when somebody just knows what they're talking about when it comes. Just the way he was moving and doing all the movements, I said, this guy knows what he's talking about.
Yeah.
All the good sound stuff, and he just,
Yeah.
he did awesome.
Yeah.
He was just great. I don't even know how we heard from him. I think Phyllis told us
Phyllis
about
told,
him.
yeah, she told me, she said, I promise you I have the best DJ for you. and he won't go wrong. He reads your crowd. He will have everyone up on the dance floor all night long.
And everybody was up there.
And that's exactly what happened. And you know,
timing with songs was perfect.
Yeah.
He knew exactly when to play what he knew what to play when it was time for everybody to sit down. It's like he didn't even have to make an announcement. He just played the song, and then all of a sudden everybody sat down. And then it flowed right into jazz where everybody was eating. And then all of a sudden when it came time to move, everybody was up and moving. He was awesome.
Yeah, and we had a great time. We met with him a couple times down in Champs in Marlton. We actually left, and he said something to my mom like, hey, listen, when me and my wife are down at Champs again, you guys want to meet up for drinks and appetizers? So, you know, we were like, yeah, why not, you know?
The best DJ I've ever seen at a wedding or anything.
Excellent, excellent. And I tell you what, every person that we've talked to, you know, friends of the family and my family members, the DJ was great, the DJ was great. And that was a big thing. My grandma was, you better not have all this young stuff being played and the old people won't. And I said, relax, I'm going to take care of it, you know.
He took care of it.
You know, you want everybody up and dancing. You don't just want the old people up, you don't want the middle age up, you don't want just the young up. I wanted everybody up. And that's what he did. It was good. I had actually seen that on, like, when we first started looking around for wedding stuff. I had been to some of, like, the bridal shows at the Marion. So I had different videographers' DVDs that I watched. And I saw that on some of them, but I thought, oh, that's something extra or something, you know. But I was kind of like, is it going to happen? Is it going to happen? I remember talking to my one girlfriend about it and being like, Laura, who was in the wedding, and I'm like, do you think, I don't know, but then I totally forgot about it. And then the day of, it was like, it was just, and to see it actually coming at you, it was just like, man, this is such a showstopper, you know. And the Banana Fosters, we didn't know that was going to happen.
Yeah.
When they did that after we cut the cake, I did not know that was, I knew we were having Banana Fosters, but I didn't know they were actually going to, you know, do the performance with it. And that was really cool. Our first dance. High five on that. Best dance around. I'm sorry.
Our first dance had to start off with a good song to where they announced us for the first time. You know, the first dance in public or whatever.
We started out to Bryan Adams' Heaven, which is really our song.
To our real song, we're dancing.
We thought about this. We kind of got the idea, I want to say like almost a year before the wedding, that we wanted to do this.
Yeah, we knew we wanted to do it.
And we kept talking about it. And then 3 months before the wedding, we were like, all right, you know, we really need to start practicing this now because it's getting down to the grind. And we didn't want to start too early because, you know, and I remember we had many weekends, spent hours, you know, sometimes up till like 1, just practicing this dance. And Joe is such a good sport, so there's some nights where, you know, he would work late or something and I'd be like, you know, we need to practice the dance because we need to get it down. And that was our goal, was we didn't want to just have some dance that was like mediocre. You know, we wanted it to be good.
Yeah, if we were going to spend the time practicing, we wanted to get it done right because it could still look good and still be really, really funny.
Yeah, that's what we wanted.
That's what we wanted to do. We wanted it to be just like everybody.
We wanted to catch everybody off guard.
Like, what in the world is going on here? And the reason why it came out really good too is, I mean, we did a lot of practice, but Dave really kicked in all the, I mean, the way he
really did it good.
What I liked was he knew right when we had to change songs, and then me and her would start off, and it was perfect pauses in between. And then at the end of the song, we wanted to go into our song of me and her slow dancing again. And that was all Dave. We told him.
Yeah, we told him pick a spot.
Pick a good spot to start the song back off. So at the end of our little mid dance there, spun her around, and then. Boom! When I dipped her, the other song came in at the perfect time, and it was just, it gives me like goosebumps. Like,
yeah, it was good.
It was really cool.
And Joe was really good. Like I showed him the part in the very beginning in Billie Jean where he kind of did the turn and he pushed the hat and he kind of turns like this. I taught him how to do it, but he was so good about it because he was like, I'm not moving on until I get this perfect. And I'm like, honey, you've got it. Believe me, I want you to look good up there. You've got it. No, I'm gonna get it right. And I'm like, okay. And he kept practicing and I think he did a really good job. He did. Thank you. I loved our reception.
I was very happy.
Our reception was great.
Food.
Food is excellent. Loved the cold soup. I was so not going to go with the cold soup, the strawberry and honey cantaloupe, I think it was. And my mom's like, you gotta try cold soup, it's good.
Yeah, that was
Loved
good.
that.
It was different for everybody.
From the decorations to the DJ to, the video and the photographers, I didn't even know you guys were there. It's funny because I would think back to myself and be like, oh, I wonder if they got this, when we were doing that or this. And it's funny because my friends all have, the pictures up from the wedding on the Facebook and the MySpace, and I'm like, oh, there's Tom, or there's Sarah, or there's Tony. And I'm like, they did get it, but I didn't notice you that day. And I think that's what's really cool too, Everything, the whole reception, it was perfect.
Everybody says their wedding is a blur. It was a blur for about the first couple hours. The last 2 hours, we had fun.
We had a great time.
Danced, got to enjoy ourselves.
Yeah, I was glad that I got to get a pretty good dance in with my grandpa. My grandpa Wade. I got to get a real nice dance in with him.
We were dancing with him, fast dancing, everything.
We were dancing.
We had a good time.
We had a really good time. How about you?
Had a blast.
You got to get a good dance in with your grandma.
My grandma.
When we were starting to do tables. His grandma from Puerto Rico. We got to do a nice dance with her.
I got to spend time with everybody, I think. A pretty good amount of time, yeah.
We had a great time. The cake cutting was fun.
Smooth.
We did good. We didn't do the smashing.
We didn't do the smash.
I put a little bit on your nose, just because people were like,
Yeah, had to get a little crowd pleaser, the dance wasn't.
We had talked about that before, that we weren't into the smashing. Because I feel like you smash the cake, and then the bride's got to go off, get it off, reapply the makeup. It's like such a waste of time. So it's like, do the cake, and plus we had red velvet, so that could have been bad. That could have been very bad. So we were good about it. We had fun. So, cake was fun. And I loved the song, the When You Wish Upon a Star. It was like so perfect. So.
We went to Disney World the Monday after the wedding for a week, and then we went to Antigua the week after.
For a week. And we had a blast. In Disney, we wore
our Disney Mickey ears.
Yeah, our bride and groom ears.
Bride and groom Mickey ears.
And they made us feel so special.
Everywhere you went, you got a pin that says
just married.
They let you in the front of the line.
Yeah.
Everybody would walk every time you turn around. Congratulations, congratulations.
We must have got told congratulations a million times.
Every time we'd have dinner or something somewhere, we'd get pictures with Mickey and all them, and it was congratulations, or they'd do something nice to our table.
Yeah.
That was like the fun part of the honeymoon. Well, it was all fun, but that was the part.
Every night at dinner, they did something special, whether it was a dessert or the one place we went to, they made Joe sing "You Are My Sunshine," which was fitting because that's my nickname to him. So it was just perfect.
And then Antigua, and we just had
met some really fun
more
people.
Relaxing. Met a lot of fun people.
Yeah.
Went on an excursion on the boat, and
I fed the fish.
We saw the most beautiful beaches.
Yeah.
I mean, that was the best vacation ever.
A 2-week trip where you're in Disney World, and then all of a sudden you leave and you go somewhere else that's just as awesome. And it's like, who does that? And it was just like, yeah, when we're older, we might go to Hawaii or Australia or Europe and maybe stay for 2 weeks. But never are you going to go somewhere again and do 1 week here and then go from one extreme to another, from where you're consistently going all day long and seeing the characters and running to park and rides, and then all of a sudden you're in the Caribbean having a nice cold blue Hawaiian frozen drink in your hand and laying in the blue water, It was great.
From here on out, our plans are to get our house finished up, typical stuff like that. Get everything going with the house, get our lives on track, start getting some money, start establishing ourselves and start defining ourselves as a married couple. Just to be like a family, start making we always make our own decisions, but now it's like we're gonna have our own household, and it's just taking on more responsibility. In 10 years, we'll probably be setting up our Hawaiian vacation. And that's going to be the big thing then. Other than that, not a whole bunch. I don't think we'll change. Probably have some kids, but at that point, probably about 5 or 6 kids at that point.
Oh, yeah.
No. We'll probably, hopefully at that time, we'll have at least, 2 kids. At least one. And going to soccer practice and doing stuff like that.
Soccer, huh?
Football.
Right.
Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
No.
but still
like
me
the
and her
soccer.
having fun.
We have to get into our house because we're not in yet, and we need to get in. And hopefully, I'm sure when we're watching this video, we'll be in. So hopefully everything will be going smooth. I'll be student teaching, yay. I want us to just, you know, live a good life, maybe win the lottery, you know. No, I'm kidding. But no, just a good, comfortable life, you know. Like Joe said, be able to hopefully travel once a year if you know, money provided, and you know, be a family. You know, I want us to stay very close. I want us to continue family traditions and things that we do now, and 5 to 10 years from now, at least 5 years for a child, because I'm not ready for that yet. Neither of us are. We're too selfish. But I hope to really be established, and I want to save a lot of money and have, you know, in case of a rainy day or anything like that, we're both pretty much on the same page. And you know, I'd like to still just kind of be not be where we are today in the sense of, like, you know, jobs and all that, but we'll be more established and whatnot like that. But I hope that, you know, our family ties and relationships and everything is strong, and that, you know, by then we will have at least the child and, you know, a little girl, and hopefully, you know, I know Joe will be a really good dad. You know, hopefully we'll just have a really good life and kids and family and lots of animals, and we'll just be in love like we were the day that we walked down the aisle, like we are today. Actually, I hope that we are more in love than we are now.